Who has sexier men, Uganda or Kenya?
I can't. I know what I like, and I would say
For you.
I like them. Like there's certain men, like Luo men are known to be tall and dark.
Yeah.
And,
Give us your type, because maybe somebody watching this. I have a lot of y'all in the comments who be trying to push me off on people. We got a beautiful woman here in Nairobi. Yes. What is your type?
Mature woman. I really don't. Okay, I like a creative man. Like that. I love a creative man. I love a man who is fun, who is just intellectually savvy, who can stimulate me in that way. In terms of a physical type, I don't think I have a physical type. I took 6 to 8 months decompressing from the rat race in the US. And it's like when you're in it, right? You can't see the forest for the trees, but you're just so busy surviving and really trying to thrive and express yourself, et cetera, et cetera. And I know there's a lot of us doing well in the US, right? But at the same time, excuse me, you'll find that people who are doing well are struggling personally. You know what I mean? If it's not their health, if it's not their personal relationships, right? In Africa, you can have all of that. You can have your circle, your tribe. And then you can also have this tangible wealth. You know what I mean?
Welcome, you guys. I have another special friend today. I've just been meeting so many special friends everywhere. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Toddre. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I live in Nairobi, Kenya at the moment, and I am a multi-hyphenate creative. We will get into what all of that means later.
Yeah, let's get into it now. Let's just dive in.
You want to dive in?
Let's just dive in. What is a multi-hyphenate creative?
So I do many things along the creative spectrum. I have an online boutique, which means that I'm a buyer. I also work as a freelance writer. I also work as a wardrobe stylist. There are many things that I do. Yes.
I love it. What made you kind of just like wake up and say, I'm going to leave LA? Like I'm done.
I was laid off. Yeah. I finally felt like I had found a home with this one company, and they laid me off. And I was like, I'm tired. I had been in LA 7 years post-divorce, and I had gone to Zanzibar for my birthday in like 2017.
What made you choose Zanzibar?
Because you know what? It was like, there's a club in what was it, DC called Zanzibar that I used to go to. LA
My mom used to go there.
Okay, because that's, it's like old head, like Caribbean, African spots.
They turned it into Ibiza, I think.
There's also a club in Santa Monica called Zanzibar. So it just kept popping up, and it sounds so exotic. So I picked Zanzibar. And you know, when you go someplace fabulous, you always like, how can I make this my everyday? How can I get back here? So that's where my head was at. And when they laid me off and they gave me a severance check and I had my unemployment insurance, I was like, I'm moving to Zanzibar. So I thought Zanzibar was going to be my forever home.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you moved to Zanzibar or like Tanzania?
I moved to Zanzibar.
Oh.
I really don't care for the mainland so
Really?
much. Yeah.
I've never been.
You gotta go.
I'm going to.
Yeah, you gotta. It took me about 6 to 8 months to decompress from the US. And
Let's talk about that. Let's break that down. So you get there, you get like an apartment.
So what I did was I got Airbnbs on various parts of the island, and I stayed there for a month to 3 months just to see which part of the island I wanted to be in.
That's smart.
Because the north is Italian, and below them is German, in terms of expats, right? But I wanted to be amongst my people, Africans. So I settled on a small fishing village called Jambiani, which most people who are familiar with Zanzibar would know Paje. Jambiani is just south of Paje. And I got a small cottage. It was like literally a 10-second walk from the beach. So if I go out my door and step to the right, I can see the ocean, the Indian Ocean.
That's gorgeous.
You know, it was wonderful. I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I rented one of them out to people on Airbnb. And that was interesting because I met some amazing people.
I bet.
Yeah. One guy stayed with me. He had been traveling the world for like 2 years, just giving hugs. That was his mission. I just want to go around the world and give hugs.
Stop.
Yes.
Where was he from?
Colombia.
That's
you
cute.
know, I met some wonderful people, but I ended up leaving Zanzibar because it was very difficult to get off the island to produce my show. The show is about international travel. You know, it's just one whole day just for me to get to the Stone Town, capital city of Zanzibar. You know what I mean? And then you get to the mainland, and you gotta wait for a bus or a flight. You know what I mean?
It's too isolated.
It's very isolated. And the other thing I didn't realize is that I felt stifled as a woman because it's a Muslim island, you know? And so I was cool with like covering because especially when you're brown.
Oh, so let's get into this because I want to go to Zanzibar with my homegirls.
Yeah.
And we like the sexy bikinis, you know, like is that not a good thing there? Like, is there a stigma towards?
Okay, so they would definitely prefer for someone who looks zingy, right? Because we look zingy, to cover. They have an expectation for you that they don't have for non-Black people, okay? So on the beach, you can wear whatever the hell you want to wear, okay? But the moment you step foot off that beach, you're in a village, and them ladies will come up to you and cover you if they feel like you're offensive, right? And I've seen them do that to actually non-Black people. So, you know, when you're every day, if you're just out shopping or whatever, they would prefer that your shoulders were covered. None of this back out stuff.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, so what is that line though? Like, would it be like, oh, you're a little waist?
Girl, that's like, somebody told me, even in Uganda, because I moved from Zanzibar to Uganda, people told me like, walking around with my midriff out was basically like asking to be raped. And I went to an open market in Uganda, and actually this man like tried to touch my stomach, and I had to like, so, you know, in that way, like I didn't really mind covering, but even when I was like covered and my legs were covered, young boys would try to shame me in the street. I'm like, I'm a grown ass woman. You know what I mean? And then also, the other issue for me as a Black American woman living her life in Zanzibar is, who was I going to talk to? Who are my friends?
A tribe.
So it's like the women there, the Zinji women there, they have their families. They don't have time to be socializing with this childless, marryless, a non-Muslim woman. Although I did have a friend across the way, but we couldn't communicate with each other. So we used to communicate through our food. So I would cook and bring food to her, and she would cook and bring her kids over to come get me to have her at her house.
That's kind.
But we couldn't really like
actually get
communicate.
Deep. Yeah.
And then there's so many expats on that island, mostly European, but can I curse?
Yeah, you
okay, but they ain't
this
fuck
is a
with
safe
me.
space.
Okay. Like, real talk, I just want to speak in my authentic voice. Like, they ain't fuck with me.
Why?
Because wherever you go, there you are. So people bring their discrimination, they bring their biases with them. And then it was this thing of like, well, I'm here living my best life in Zanzibar. How are you here? Like, they were so interested in just like how, and then, you know, the touching that we get in the States. And I'm just like, but then like, just like really quick, I don't want to get into this story, but I posted, I think on my Instagram, no, on my YouTube, I went to this Zanzibar hotel, which was like so cute because I had got this Airbnb that wasn't what it was supposed to be. And I had grown attached to the staff. So the only way for me to get my money back was to basically like out them. And I didn't want to do that. So I found this cute little Zanzibar where I could swim, where I could just, you know, luxuriate, get my drinks on near the Airbnb. And ultimately what ended up happening is the owner, who was French, he and I got into it because he didn't want me there. And
he just straight up said that?
He basically accused me for not paying for my drinks. And his staff was like, And we got into it. But months later, his staff was like, listen, he doesn't want people like you, and they pointed to their skin at his hotel, unless basically you work for him. So that was my experience there. And then I had ran into a white sister from Rhode Island. And she was just like, yeah, I got a group of girls here. We teach here. I want you to hang out with us. Da, da, da.
I love that.
So I was like, cool. I got there. Her girls ignored me. So there's also that jealousy factor too. You know what I'm saying? And that, I was
and these are Black Americans.
No, these were white
Americans.
women. So I had one homegirl, Gina. Let me shout out Gina. Who was African American from Philly, who like embraced me and just like showed me the ropes. Her husband was Zenji. So there are a few of us on the island, but very low key. Like they don't want to be found.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, honestly, Black women living in luxury is a problem in America. People accepting a luxurious, happy, carefree Black woman is already kind of, people are always trying to humble you even in America. So I feel like when you go into outer spaces too, then it's like, really, really, how are you affording this? Why, why are you, I thought I was special because I'm here, but you're here. So it's confusing for me, that vibe for a lot of people.
You hit the nail on the
head. Yeah, it's hard to navigate. It is though. People get very confused. That's tough for you though. So you left Zanzibar.
Yeah. So I wanted, in Zanzibar, they speak Swahili, and I was taking classes, but at a certain point I was like, I just want to speak English, and I want to be myself. I want to dress how I want to dress, blah, blah. So I chose an English speaking country, which was Uganda, which is right next door to TZ. And I ended up meeting Simone Atuha, who would be my videographer. And he was like, I believe in your vision, da, 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 da. And I really liked Uganda. Uganda is supposed to be the friendliest country in the world.
You gotta take me.
Yeah, okay. I'm down to go. I'm down to go. And they love to party.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm moving here. And you said luxury. So I wasn't living in luxury. I don't even want to fake the funk like that. I wasn't living in luxury. So I took the bus from Tanzania to Uganda. And what was supposed to be 2 to 4 months to work on my project ended up to be 2 years.
Wow. Wow. So when you got to Uganda, what about it made you like, I'm staying?
Well, it was the fact that it was less conservative than Zanzibar. I was amazed by the red dirt. Zanzibar is built on a coral rock. So everything is white. The houses are white, the roads are white. And I got to Uganda, I was like, the soil was so red, like deep down in South, U.S. South. The people and the opportunities. Every time I was like, okay, I'm ready to go, another opportunity. Like I never got the opportunity to style a fashion brand in the U.S. And I got that opportunity through Kona, and they made your earrings, okay? And
These
so
are really cute.
I appreciated that. And, one thing I do want to touch on is that I've been able to self-actualize in Africa, which in the U.S., I was not given the opportunity to self-actualize.
What was stopping you in the U.S. from being able to self-actualize, you think?
Oh, that whole white inferiority complex. Like most people call it white superiority, right? That's a system. But for me, I call it white inferiority because there's no way you could feel good about yourself and want to oppress other people. So like I said, like...
That's deep. So are you dating? Were you dating in Uganda?
I knew you was going to go there, Brittany.
That's what the people want to know. People want to know, if I move out there, people love love. People love love. Nobody wants to move out the country and the men aren't, cute. No one wants to know.
It's been a mixed bag for me. So I dated one person in Zanzibar, and he was a beach boy. So you can Google that. He was basically out, how women will go to Jamaica to... for sexual tourism.
Oh, to get your groove back?
Yes.
Okay, Stella.
He was a beach boy, so he was someone who lived off of, basically European tourists to see whatever they can get. And it's a whole tribe of them, okay? Whatever they can get from you, Okay, be it physical, right? As in your body, your money, your property.
Visa.
So, a visa. You know what I mean? So, and when I met him, like, I knew, like, okay, he's interesting. But that didn't last long. But, it was one of those, like, oh, can you buy me this? Can you pay for this? I was like, okay, this isn't working out. Uganda, it was a mixed bag. I haven't had any serious relationships, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're focused.
I love love too. Like, I used to be a stylist for love, as in styling people to attract love into their lives. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Style me to attract love, sis. What do I need to put on?
But you know what I realized? That it was some bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, and I was so passionate about it. You know what I mean? You could go outside in your sweats, no makeup on, and your booby right there.
Yeah, but some men do want to see certain things. It depends. It depends on the person,
but looking good is not gonna keep a man.
It's not. No, it won't.
Cooking good ain't gonna keep a man.
Oh, I don't even cook no more.
Throwing it down in the bedroom is not gonna keep a man.
You can only keep a man. You can only keep a man that wants to be kept.
True.
That's it. So you stayed in Uganda. What made your shift from Uganda to Nairobi?
Okay. So I have been on a tourist visa since January 2018. And I feel like that's important to share because people always want to have all their ducks in a row and know, like, what's the visa requirements.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because I don't know the answers. I'm here on a work visa. I got here and got a work visa a week later.
That's coveted. She's on a coveted work visa.
Yeah, I work. They make me work for it, y'all. I ain't out here having that much fun, but I'm just kidding. I love my job. But what do you do you do the tourist visa? How long did they give you in Zanzibar when you got your visa?
Girl, I'm gonna be real. There's only so much we can share on YouTube, right? But I came on a tourist visa they gave me like, I think it was 90 days. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it was 90 days. You can apply for extensions. They are supposed to be free, okay? What happened?
People want favors on the way?
Okay, so what happened to me in Zanzibar is ultimately I went to get an extension. And at the end of the day, when I went back to get my extension, they didn't like the way I was dressed. Yeah, I had on a kufi, which really only men wear, but it was like a marriage kufi, so it was like bright colors, which the men typically don't wear. People kept telling me, you can wear it. And the guy who was stamping passports was not feeling it, and he was an older gentleman. And he gave me basically 2 days to leave the country. So with the tourist visa, theoretically, you can cross the border, get stamped on your way out, and come back in. You could wait 24 hours. You could wait 2
and renew
weeks.
The visa.
Yeah, but you just gotta go and come.
Do they do visa upon arrival?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, wow.
And I had a situation where I had actually overstayed because I was like, how am I going to get my whole life in order in 2 days? And when I got to the Zanzibar border, right, which is a water border, they was like, step back here. So there are things
that's scary. No, that's scary.
It was scary for me, but it didn't have to be because I didn't know the ropes. So you can, in most countries, you can extend to 3 times before you have to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, I would like to get residency.
Where?
In Kenya. I would like to get residency, yeah.
Okay, so then at that point, you left Zanzibar, got through the Tanzanian border, got into Uganda. Did you have to get a tourist visa for Uganda? How long was that one?
I think it was 90 days.
Okay, so they're generally all 90 days.
When you first come in, it's like 90 days. But definitely, like, when you go for your extensions or when they see that you've been here multiple times, because I've been told, like, at the border, you've been here too long, don't come back. I was like,
dang, y'all don't like tourism?
Yo, hey.
That's rude.
You know, once you get into a country, you start asking around and you start, you know, getting your connections so that you don't have to deal with that. And land borders are a lot more difficult than air borders. Land borders can be a little bit lawless. People can do and say whatever they want to do.
Yeah, because they're at that little station. Ooh, that's a lot. So Uganda renewed you a lot of times.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, amen. Amen. God is good.
Yes.
And then you come to Kenya. I heard Kenya is strict.
They were. I mean, like, so you asked me a question that I didn't answer. What brought me from Uganda to Nairobi? Okay, so my tour, I exhausted my extensions because they'll give you 3 and then you got to go. Right, go and come. A lot of people do that though, especially like I've seen some NGO workers do that so they don't have to pay taxes here and in their home country.
That's smart.
Okay, so I was like, well, dang, I've been to Rwanda, I've been to the, you know, let me go to Nairobi. I knew some people here, and when I had come initially, it was for work, but then when I came recently, it was just for a visa run. That's what we call it, a visa run. And I was like, wait a minute. And the people I knew, they took me to their Nairobi, which is awesome. And I was like,
what is their Nairobi?
So it, like, this area that we're in right now, Westlands, you know, things that we are more accustomed to in the States.
The more cosmopolitan, expat-y bubble of
it is
Nairobi.
A bubble.
Yeah.
It is a bubble, but it's something that I wasn't able to really access in Zanzibar without complications. And we spoke about those complications dealing with Europeans.
Yeah.
And also the thing that really sealed the deal for me was the urban green spaces. So I'm a Cali girl, and I like being outdoors. I'm accustomed to going hiking in the Santa Monica Mountains on a Saturday. And we have Karua Forest, which is right here in the city. And my place is walking distance from the Arboretum. So as much as I love Kampala doesn't have that. So there are things that we take for granted in the States, like sidewalks and parks, that are not so prevalent on the continent, and that's just real.
That's true.
Yeah.
Nairobi is like no other city I've seen. I can say in the States, I don't think there's a city that's this green, but still, I don't know. Is there?
Maybe if you go like Northwest Washington, which I've never been up there, but
Portland, I don't know, but Nairobi really is a special city. So I can
it
see
is.
You came here and we're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I loved it. And then also the ocean, because I miss the ocean. Living in Uganda is landlocked, right? The ocean's just an hour flight away. You know, if you can literally go there once a month.
Yeah. Take the train.
Or fly.
So you got to Nairobi, you get settled here in Nairobi. Where did you settle down? Like around here?
I did. I was in Kilimani. So I had met a mutual friend so we're talking about the man thing. I feel like I kind of skipped over that.
Oh.
I actually had a long-term friend who was recently divorced, and he came to Uganda to visit me, and basically swept me off my feet. But he lived in Nairobi, and so when I came here for my visa run, the plan was to stay with him.
Okay.
And when I got here, he completely flipped the script.
Oh, that's the norm.
It was really a really bad experience.
Is he married?
He might be. Or he was just an ass. But actually, he was raised for most of his life in North America. I won't give the country away. But however, he is of East African descent, from the Horn of Africa. So, he's not a Kenyan man. But
the Horn is like Egypt.
The Horn is like Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia.
Okay.
But for all intents and purposes, he's North American. But there's that. I don't want to stereotype or generalize anybody. So my homegirl was like, you can't stay there. Come stay with us. And so she introduced me to a friend of hers who was Ugandan, who had been living in Nairobi for like 6 years. Shout out to Jita. And Jita didn't know me from a can of paint. And she was like, you stay here for as long as you need. I ended up staying with her for 2 months.
We
like
love
rent free.
A tribe.
You know what I'm saying? And she introduced me to her Nairobi. And I just fell in love, you know, and she was kind of like, even though I'm older, she was like kind of like my mom, like my mother hen. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I love that. That's a blessing. Were you a part of the Black Expats? So we met through the Black Expats in Kenya group. Were you a part of that expat group before you got here? It was after.
No. I was actually a part of Still We Rise, which is another Black expat group. And from there, I met the people who were in the Black expat group.
Okay. Did you join the expat group in Tanzania or Uganda?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, for me, that's a great way to know the lay of the land.
Yeah.
So, but mine were on Facebook. So, Zanzibar, Facebook expats, Facebook expats in Nairobi, expats in Kampala. Even when I went to Rwanda just to visit, I joined their expat group just so I could see like what's popping, what's really going on.
Yeah.
But these expat groups on Facebook are, you know, very elitist, and
I agree.
and people be talking about locals like dirt. And my whole thing is this: I'm a guest. I would never come into your house and talk shit about how you raise your kids and how you keep your house. So even though I may see dysfunction and problems, I'm not going to air them on a major platform. That'll be a conversation between me and you.
Yeah.
A conversation with somebody who's Kenyan, like, please explain why this is happening. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think expat groups are hurtful and helpful because it keeps you locked into each other. You know, like I want local friends. Like I've been craving local friends. I try not to hang out with my coworkers, you know, because we're all it's just us living here and it feels like America, but we're hanging out in Kenya, you know?
Facts.
Do you hang out with a lot of people from the expat group here usually? Yeah.
That's typically, and I'm like you, like that's typically my scene because I work from home. So I'm not somebody that's encountering Kenyans every day unless they're service people, my housekeeper and the guards. That's typically who I'll see.
It's
every
hard.
day.
Yeah, unless you put yourself, like I met this girl and asked her, can you give me like a list of local places that are not around here that people go to have fun so that I can go out there, you know, but make sure they're safe, you know? But yeah, you have to be really intentional almost with opening yourself outside of the expat bubble. So how has the business side of Nairobi been as compared to Kampala?
I think it's been more difficult for me to find my niche in Nairobi just because Nairobi is a bigger city. And that just goes with the territory. I haven't actually tried to venture out into the creative space here as far as work is concerned, just because my clients are in the US. My online business, actually, we started out servicing mostly the US, but we're actually shifting to offer products here in Kenya to Kenyans. But the thing is, the catch-22 is like the things that I'm selling in the US are not things that Kenyans really value. The kitenge, the beaded necklaces, they don't really value it. That's like it's old news for them. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's old.
They want to kind of, a lot of them are going towards dressing like out of that. Yeah.
Especially like younger people.
Yeah.
They, you know, kitenge is really for their aunties and their mamas for weddings and stuff like that. But for us, we're just like, oh, Ankara, you know what I mean? Like, that's dope.
It's special.
And then I told you I write. So I write for a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really...
You're lucky that you've been able to secure those jobs, kind of like keep your foot with the U.S. because the dollars equate to more over here. So you've been able to like make it work very well.
Yeah, but it was a struggle because... I told you I moved to Zanzibar. I had a severance check and I had unemployment insurance. When that dried up, I was like, what are we going to do? And of course, I was proactive, like, let me hit the ground running before it dries up. But I actually tried getting a management position at a resort in Zanzibar because a French sister was just like, this woman I know owns this resort, she's looking. But when I got there, she wanted a foreign manager, but she didn't want a Black foreign manager. And she actually told me that because I was mixed race, that I was smarter than the local people. And then she proceeded to denigrate the local people. It was crazy. So what I ended up doing, my homegirl Gina was like, can you write? And I hadn't written since college. We talk about academic papers, research, you know what I mean? And I ended up working for a content mill, making a penny a word, writing essentially half the freaking day for $50 a project. So I was writing content for entire websites, 4,000 plus words for $50.
That's draining.
Fortunately, and I was starting to get angry.
I bet.
Because I had this brother staying with me who was basically giving hugs and drinking coconut water and mangoes on the beach and playing soccer.
Yeah, boy.
With the kids. And
boy.
he was like, and I was in there like,
slaving.
Usually $50 goes a long way in Zanzibar.
Okay.
You know, I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and so my rent was like $300.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So, which it was like, but I moved here to enjoy. I didn't move here to slave away at my house, you know?
Yeah, to get by.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no one's doing that. In Nairobi, do you feel like you like overspend, underspend? Like for me, I feel like I've been overspending. A lot of the stuff around here is really expensive. And like I'm just living like I'm in America. Like I totally overspend and I'm trying to cut back on that.
Yeah.
How do you feel like the money conversion is for you?
Because
it's different for everybody, depending on your budget.
The money conversion is good. Now, mind you, like I'm not a diplomat, you know what I mean? My housing's not paid for, but you know, 100 shillings is $1 essentially. So that works out for us. You know, my rent is $700 a month.
That's not bad.
Right. And I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath and, you know, all the cool amenities. But I do have I'm in an older building. Like your building is newer. My building was built completed in 1976.
Okay.
Right. But I feel you on the cost because in the States, you could go to a little hole in the wall and get a good meal, tasty, huge plate for less than $10. Here, you go to some of these places that people covet. I don't want to mention them, but they're chains and people covet. It's like status to go there. And you spend $10, $12 on a below average meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even feel good after I've eaten it. But then I also came here and I was buying MAC products because that's what I was used to, MAC makeup.
I heard the MAC here is fake.
It's expensive as I don't know what, because once you pay duties and customs, it is price. It's already pricey in the States. So imagine when it gets here. So what I did was I found local, like Susie Beauty is somebody I just found.
You gotta send these to me.
Yeah, like I think once you find your local spots, your local companies, then things will start to get cheaper. Because I noticed like even moneyed Kenyans don't shop where I shop. You know what I mean? Like they have their spots and they're able to make it work for them. Me, I'm always at my local mall. And you know, how much money am I really saving?
None for me. I have not saved anything since I've been here. I struggle with clothes. Clothes has been really hard for me here. The only place I really have quick accessibility to is LC Waikiki, which is like not really my vibe, but I had to make it my vibe because I struggle. It's either that or secondhand like markets and stuff, but that doesn't always have what I'm looking for either. So it's hard for me to have that in between. Like I miss the accessibility to fast fashion. Something real quick. I can't just like go to a Forever 21 real quick or like order Fashion Nova real quick. So that's where I'm trying to dive into. I know it's there because when I walk around, I see girls some girls like really have exactly what I would like to wear on, like cute things, but I don't know how they're getting it or like where. So that's been a different thing for me.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to plug, but I just want to say that
plug.
I offer fashion styling tours here in Nairobi, and you can book on Airbnb. But I mention it because of that business, I'm always looking for shops for my clients, opportunities for my clients. You'll be going to these places. She lives really close to like the biggest mall in Nairobi. You'll be going there, and the stuff there is not really good quality.
It's not,
and it's
overpriced.
Very pricey.
Yeah, it's overpriced. I would just rather not have clothes, to be honest.
Yeah.
You look really good.
Thank you.
You look really good.
I know what's
so
coming
I do
next.
not. No, I'm not asking your age.
Okay.
I'm not gonna ask your age unless you want to tell them. I know a lady never tells her age.
I can tell my age.
How old are you?
48.
You look good, girl. What is the secret? Because I'm coming up on 30 and I'm trying to stay fine.
You know, number one, as women, our bodies are constantly changing. Whether you're on your period or you're not, you bloated, you're not, you're pregnant, you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're stressed, you're not eating. Like, our bodies are constantly changing. Mm-hmm. And because I used to work in retail, I can just tell you that just get comfortable with that. You know, I got my clothes that I can't even fit into. No, my Zanzibar clothes, like I was skinny.
Girl, please, you are skinny.
No.
Girl, lie.
Zanzibar is all fresh fruit and vegetables. And, you know, it's like fresher than Nairobi. All the fruits and everything is tiny. You know what I mean?
The little strawberries, like.
Yeah, I was so skinny that you can feel I could feel my tailbone for the first time in my life. But back to your question. Just accepting that and realizing as your metabolism slows down, because it will, and it has, you adjust. You know what I mean? You adjust your diet, and you don't have to go cold turkey, just slowly. Like, I gave up milk. You know, at one time I was like a pescatarian. Now I'm like 80% vegetarian, but it's not one size fits all. What works for you? The other thing is, like, don't be letting these niggas stress you out. And I mean that in every aspect. Your situation at work. Say what? You know, your situation in your personal relationships. So I feel like, you know, our lexicon right now includes words like self-care, you know what I mean, and me time and all of that. That's really important. But I'm also, you strike me as an extrovert.
Yeah.
So you're rejuvenated by being around people.
Yeah.
You know, and
well, I'm a Cancer, so I like to go out, and then I gotta recluse. Yeah, I need my time to recharge, and then I go back out.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like an introvert who can be an extrovert. So I spend a lot of time by myself.
What's your sign?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, we vibe.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I'm just like, wow, this relationship is not working, or I'm not welcome here, I have no problem leaving. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, no, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, that's how she stays young. Do you ever plan on going back to the States?
No, not at all. And people ask me all the time, like my loved ones, and I'm just like, y'all come visit me. You know, right now, and it's like so many of my friends have never been to Africa. What is? I mean, COVID was the holdup, right? And tickets can be expensive. But like my dad, I'm just like, and I'm also trying to get him to purchase property here, to have a piece of the motherland. It's not expensive. You know, and so like one of the things that I'm thinking about really making a business, and I done listed so many businesses here, but one of the things, like, people have asked me to essentially scout property for them in Zanzibar. And I'm just like, you could get a house or a condo on the ocean, right? If you want to live a certain lifestyle for less than $30,000.
Yeah. Who has come to visit you? From the States.
From the States. This is so bad.
It's not bad.
Because I did have one brother come visit me, and we were former lovers in the States. And
girl, I had my ex come visit me.
Yeah, no, but the thing was, I don't think that he came to visit me. I think that he chose Zanzibar because I was there, and he just wanted to see Africa. And it ended up being a very bad situation to where I was intentionally celibate for about a year and a half.
How did that go?
It worked out well. Okay, so in that space, I turned off a piece of myself, which is my sensuality. And what I can say about celibacy, everybody has their own journey, right? Because I was intentionally celibate for about a year, and then I was unintentionally celibate for about 2 years.
Okay, so you just kind of wanted to restart.
I was like, I don't really know what a quality man is. So let me take a break after that situation with him. And then when I came out of it, I wanted to partner, but I didn't really see anyone suitable. Like, there are fine men here, right? For me, and at that time I was in Uganda. But I'm like, are we...
Who has sexier men, Uganda or Kenya?
I can't. I know what I like. And I would say
for you,
I like them. Like, there's certain men, like Luo men are known to be tall and dark.
Yeah.
And,
give us your type, because maybe somebody watching this. I have a lot of y'all in the comments who be trying to push me off on people. We got a beautiful woman here in Nairobi.
Yes.
What is your type?
Mature woman. I really don't. Okay, I like a creative man. Like that. I love a creative man. I love a man who is fun, who is just intellectually savvy, who can stimulate me in that way. In terms of a physical type, I don't think I have a physical type. But if I were to choose, like, I do like someone who's taller than me. I do like someone who's just like chocolate, and you know what I'm saying. And I love a man with swag. You know, but I've
Good
dated.
thing you're a dressing consultant, so if he doesn't have swag, she can fix it.
You know, but I mean swag in terms of like attitude,
personality.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
I've also dated men that were shorter than me and men who were not chocolate. So
You're open to all.
I don't know.
What are so you told me what you're kind of looking for in a man. What about men who here may not make a lot of money, but have a job? Because you know what I'm saying? A lot of you have a good job here sometimes, but you don't make a lot of money.
I was dealing with that like 2 weeks ago. You know, I found someone who I'm really comfortable with, you know, who is a creative, who in my love language is acts of service and quality time. So definitely I got that from him, and he was a hard worker. Like, his hands showed it, but he didn't make a lot of money. So ultimately I was turned off by the fact that, you know, he was asking me to help him out of a really tough situation. And no was not enough. Like, he asked me multiple times. So I was like, yeah, we're going to be friends.
Yeah.
And I can help you out with your business, but the love affair is not.
Yeah.
That was just a turn off for me. Now, maybe if I was rolling in the dough like that, I could bankroll his whole business, and you know, maybe I could do that, but I'm not in that position,
that space right now.
What
are your favorite places that you've been in Kenya? Like, have you ventured out of Nairobi?
I have. I love Watamu. Like,
really?
I traveled up and down the coast for about three weeks,
really?
And Watamu was like my favorite.
You gotta give me a list, because I'm going there in a couple weeks.
Okay.
What about Watamu like just sits with you?
It's the energy. It's a slower pace. But then they also have some really cool spots, you know, that are just sexy and beachy at the same time. And I like that I could have both, you know, and the beauty of it.
It's better than Diani.
For me, it was like, if you want to party, I think Diani is a better spot for you. But I'm at this space in my life where I'm like, I've been partying since I was 17. You know, I don't really need to do that.
Yeah. So are you gonna stay? You said you do not plan on going back to the States. There's nothing like where you're just like, oh, like I miss this so much some days. Like, do you have rough days?
Okay, so I love to go for walks. So when I was living in Uganda, it was tough because there's not a lot of sidewalks. So you just ambling along in the dust. You know what I mean? And there's cars and
being prepared to get dirty, eyes, like
and cows. And this is like no shade to Kampala, but it was one of the things that I never thought about in the States. Do I have rough days though? In Zanzibar, I had some rough days trying to negotiate transport. Because I didn't have transport, and you don't need a lot to survive there. So if you don't match your taxi's price, the price that he asked, he gonna go back to playing whatever game with his friends, go back to sleep. And so like I was paying so much money just to get around, like US prices just to get around. So I had rough days there. And being a woman and dealing with the fact that they not really respecting me here. I ended up renting a scooter to get around, and I got stopped like 7 times because they wanted bribes. But I wasn't cognizant enough to know like and finally, like this guy literally like asked me for money, the police. And he was just like, all right, well, I could seize your bike and you can meet me at the courthouse tomorrow. And I was like, well, dang.
Have you dealt with that in Nairobi yet?
No, ma'am. Thank God.
Girl, the cops are obsessed with me. I kind of can't drive, but
you have a car here.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Girl, I started off with the SUV, and I had to get a smaller car because I hit things. It's rough driving here sometimes. It's crazy, and the cops play so much. I would say avoid getting in a car. Honestly, I'm so serious. I wish I could. I just told you I might think about getting a scooter. I wanted a bike, but all my coworkers were like, "Do not get a bike. It's rough." But you don't really have those type of days in Nairobi, like where you're just kind of like, dang, I miss home. Like do you feel like you have that tribe and that sense of belonging here?
I'm working on it. My tribe is really small. I've been in East Africa consistently since January 2018.
Okay.
And then because of my education background and profession, I've been traveling to Africa since I was 18 for work. So I've acclimated in that sense. But Nairobi is such a developed city. In the area that I live in, I don't really have those. When the power goes out, that'll be a day where I'm just like, how am I supposed to work from home? You know what I mean? Like,
What about after Nairobi?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Because Nairobi is colder than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't prepared.
You and me both.
And these houses are made of cement block. There's no insulation. So your house could be colder than it is outside. So I may move to the coast, but I feel like Nairobi is my home for now. I'll stay here until it works for me.
I love that for you. I really love that for you. As far as women in business, so, a lot of people always ask, what am I going to do for money out there? Like, what is the economy looking like? Like, what advice would you give our brothers and sisters in the States who are coming here, like, with ideas, or like, how have you been able to kind of navigate that?
Okay, so again, my clients are in the States for the most part. So I haven't really had to navigate the business sphere here. However, I am branching out. Like, I've just started offering my wardrobe services, styling services here. What I will say from what I've witnessed vicariously and also for myself is that come with your idea and possibly get that off the ground before you come. Have your investors lined up, because you can't do everything. That's one thing that I've had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Have your investors lined up. And then also think about linking with a Kenyan partner, somebody that you trust and you vibe with, because a partnership is like a marriage.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to navigate all that paperwork, that bureaucracy, and that shit that we're just not used to.
Yeah.
And you focus on your idea. And that's what I'm seeing people do here.
Yes.
And also the other thing I want to say is, like, we want people to come here who want to give, who are not wrapped up into like, well, how much money can I make now? Well, she's only accustomed to making $5 for cleaning my whole place. And so I'm gonna charge her $5 or get her down to $4 because she'll do it. But if you have give like, so social enterprises, I love, that type of thing. Like people who don't want to exploit, because it's easy to exploit people here. Like come with a good heart, come with your business sense, but also come to teach others and also to build a legacy so that if you're somebody like myself who may, move to another country, people have the tools to continue and to build their own after you're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I feel that. Don't come here and what you can juice out of it, like a colonizer, basically. Like come here like you're coming home to help, to add on to, not to subtract from. Yeah,
and that works like professionally and personally, because I think we've both seen people come here, and it's not just white folks. Like it just irritates. It really bugs me when I see us come here and we become divisive. Ooh, well, what's the difference between an African-American woman and an African woman? Why is that a discussion? And then because there is such a huge chasm between our earning potential, our education, right? That you can come here and really exploit people romantically, sexually. I've seen that. And I hate that. I hate that we're engaging in that type of thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a reverse superiority, like abused in the US, so then you come over and then you become an abuser. Yeah, possibly.
That's brought down countries. Liberia, hello. Sierra Leone, hello.
Yeah. Yeah, not for real. Did you have anything else you kind of want to touch on? I'm going to edit this. I'm going to chop this part, but...
I think we touched on everything.
Yeah, I think we did a lot. I think this was a really nice girl-centered combo. I like it. I'm feeling it. I just want to make sure that I've asked you everything. So we talked about Uganda. We talked about... Oh, yeah. Hold on. Have you been to West Africa?
Yeah.
Where?
I went to school at University of Ghana in Legon.
Oh!
But we talking like late 90s. I know it's changed.
You have not been back?
I haven't been back.
Why?
I want to go back. I'm going to Ghana this year.
Okay. I was like looking up Nairobi online before I moved here. It's like level 4 security.
They do scare you. Don't they scare you? Oh my God, they scare you. When you come to Africa for the first time, you have to come with new eyes.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see some things, that it's just like, why is this like this? And certain systems are in place to keep things the way that they are, But I was talking to my cousin last night about purchasing property in Zanzibar, because I'm going there anyway for a client. So you want me to look at something that will be for your legacy, for your babies, a summer home, something that you could afford. And he told me that there was someone in his social circle that was just like, yeah, no, we not doing that because I hear that they killing Black Americans. Where did you hear that from?
That is so ignorant.
And then there's this narrative that Africans don't like African Americans. I personally never run into that. You know what I mean? But I know people who have, and I'm like, I know why you have, but because you carry yourself like you're aloof.
Yeah.
Like you're not of the people.
That
Come
pompous.
here and be of the people.
Pompous, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really is security, like very security scary online though. Even outside of like race and stereotypes, when you go to even the agents, like the embassy website, when you're coming here, it literally says level 4 security. I thought I was gonna get off the plane and be in a war zone.
Did you?
I'm not joking. I was just like, am I safe to live in my house? Because even when you go on like the travel groups, I'm not joking. If you go on the travel groups, everyone's like robbery. You're going to get your phone snatched. Make sure this. Yeah, a lot of people say it's an unsafe city.
Okay, so this is what I will say. And this is just from my experience working with the Peace Corps and USAID. And then also currently, if you are not Black, you are a target to be robbed. I mean, and that's just... the interesting thing about having light skin and being, let's just say white, in Africa is that you are put on a pedestal. In most parts of Africa, you are treated like a demigod. Certain countries more, certain countries less. But the downside to that, people are always asking you for money. You're always seen as a bank. And you bet not try to walk home inebriated, because you will get got. So that's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But when you walk around like me, you know what I'm saying? I'm on a scooter. I like to walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just a low-key person, especially when I have my mask on. You know, they're just like, okay, she's one of, they don't know. And then too, it's like, this is a city. Don't think like you can't behave like you're not in a city. Keep your wits about you.
It's the same as New York, basically.
It's a city, and I at home, I don't walk outside at night. I don't go jogging before the sun comes up. Like, so I'm not gonna do that here either.
Facts. Yeah, that's facts. I feel safe. I mean, I have walked at night, honestly, not drunk, but I've walked from like Sarit to home. I love my guards. I feel very safe here, but I know that I did fall into that whole stereotype of like, oh my God, is it safe for me out there? I got like the pepper spray, alarm, knife set on Amazon. Like, I was not playing at all. But my mom was one of those people too, who a lot of us African Americans just do not want to come to Africa. And I've had to force my mom to come. She met me in Ghana, loved it, but was just like, you know, Ghana is a lot less underdeveloped, less developed than here. She came to Nairobi and just was amazed.
And that's part of the reason why I do want to stay. Like, my housekeeper came to me and she was just like, I'm gonna take you where the regular people live. And I was like, I didn't say anything, but in my head I was like, I've seen poverty and I don't need to see people suffering. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to see
poverty,
that again.
Tourism.
I don't need to see that again. It's despicable in my opinion that people have to live that way. You know, I've been on a favela tour in Hugh. So I don't need to see that. But this whole danger thing, it, like, in the United States, it's your constitutional rights to bear arms, right? So you're able, in many states, you're able to walk around with a weapon of death as you grocery shop, while you're at the gas station in Walmart, and it be exposed. And this, you know, when you're in it, it's like, oh, that's a lot. But when you leave the US, you realize how preposterous and just like, what the fuck is that about?
Why is that necessary?
And we know what it's about, right? But then also, I was talking with some folks 2 nights ago, growing up in a very violent place. And I grew up in the suburbs for the most part, but America's a very violent place.
It is.
So whenever I'm confronted by some shit, my first reaction is to fight. That is my first reaction. Meditation has helped that, you know what I mean? And just also personal growth. Mm-hmm. But don't get, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get too crazy, because I was at the market in Uganda. And this man was mad because he gave me a sample of his watermelon and it wasn't sweet. And I was like, I'm not buying your watermelon. So ultimately, he ended up following me around the market. And and then at some point, he tugged on my bag. And I put my bag down and I was like, let's go. Like, I was like, let's go.
Was he like, girl?
He was like,
oh, this girl crazy.
He had never seen that. And I was like, okay, nobody here is coming to my aid. It's just me. But again, it's growing up in this very violent place. Kids here do not be fighting on the school ground. Like, it has to be like, you know what I mean? Your parents are paying for you to go. Yeah. And I grew up fighting in school. You know what I'm saying? We started fighting early. So this whole notion of a violent place,
yeah, culturally it's very, I got robbed in Atlanta. I've never been robbed here. Girl, anybody living in Nairobi, give us some suggestions. Like, we want to get out. We want to see the town, real things that are not on the TripAdvisor, the hidden gems. That's what we want. The hidden gems of where to shop, where to eat, where to get the arts and crafts, like, you know, the little hood spots. So hit us up below. I'm going to put your business links below and her Instagram. Please follow her. You guys, she has awesome things that you could get here in the States as well. I know a lot of y'all are in the States. You can get this. Ben's pictures right there. I'm actually going to put Ben's Instagram in here as well if anybody's interested in some art. And thank y'all for joining. Let me know what you think about everything, as always, as y'all do. And follow my Instagram.